Hi everyone. My wife and I are about to go camping for a few days, so you won't see much from me for probably the next week or so. But I did want to share something I saw early this morning on Creation Today. And that is one of these little creation bites in which Paul Taylor, talks for a few minutes. And this one is entitled The Imagination of Evolution. Now, I've gone on record before as saying I don't know enough about the theory of evolution to sort of be a major proponent for it. I do understand that there are multiple disciplines involved and just an absolute ton of work, and that these multiple disciplines are cross-confirming and cross-correlating. I'm just not the type of person to come barging out of the gate acting like I'm some sort of an authority on a subject if I don't understand it. So lucky for all of us, there are people much better versed in the theory of evolution. I don't need to be one. But what I do find quite interesting is argumentation. So let's see how Paul frames his argument.
The imagination of evolution. Evolutionists use a considerable amount of imagination in order to try and put some flesh on the bones of their very inadequate ideas, their supposed proofs for different aspects of evolution.
Now, of course, for me, I think the only reason that theists rail against the theory of evolution is because of the postulation that we share a common ancestry with other primates. I think if it were down to pretty much all other aspects of the theory of evolution, they don't really have a dog in the fight. They don't really care. They only care where they think it actually contradicts, their doctrine, and I suppose understandably so. This is why the whole concept of macro and micro evolution are bandied about, right? I don't think you see a lot of actual scientists talking about macro evolution and micro evolution. I think to them it's all evolution. But let's see how Paul continues his argument.
Actually, it's to do with the name of the dinosaur, Centrosaurus. Why is it called Centrosaurus? Saurus bit obviously is the standard ending suffix for a dinosaur. What about the centro bit? It's to do with a circle. When these dinosaurs were discovered, a number of fossils were found in a circle. So the assumption is that they must therefore have herded in circles. And since there was a younger fossil, a younger sample towards the center, they were saying that maybe they could have kept the young in the center. Now just think about this use of imagination for a moment. How can you possibly get that evidence from the fossil record? Do they assume that the creatures were herding and standing in a defensive circle when suddenly they all got killed and fell over backwards and were fossilized where they were in a circle?
Now, I'll admit, whenever I watch a Discovery Channel program or any other nature program, I am a little bit frustrated at the liberties that they seem to take, where they take something that they may have assumed or guessed from, say, the layout that they found, like Paul is describing, and pose it as fact. I would be much more happy with these kind of presentations if they would keep to the facts where they're facts, and then say, it is suggested that they may have behaved in this manner, or we think that because of, rather than treating them as facts. But what Paul is doing here amounts to one of the biggest red herring arguments I've seen in quite a long time. Of course, not only is this an absolutely massive red herring that has nothing to do with the volumes and volumes and volumes of work done, and presented in scientific journals, not little placards in museums. But what we're talking about here is not pure imagination, right? It's not pure fantasy. We're not talking about Avatar here. We're talking about people who've made reasonable guesses based on what we know about current plant and animal life, right? This isn't pure conjecture. This is, what do we know about similar animal species that we've been able to observe in the wild, and how could we extrapolate what we've sort of found, in these fossil findings? So again, it's one of the things that frustrates me a little bit too. But this is not a refutation of the theory of evolution.
It doesn't make sense. It is a work of fiction and a work of imagination, and that at the end of the day is all the evolutionists have to hang on to.
Well, this isn't my area of expertise, but it doesn't need to be. When you use argumentation like that, it's just so easily exposed. And so a little bit, I think, of unintentional comedy on Paul's part. I'm not sure that he realized he'd be making my morning with that. Anyway, I thought it was cute. I thought I'd share it with you. Everyone have a good week. Thanks for watching.